Hello and welcome back to Python Fundamentals. Today, I'll be presenting the second lesson on Python Fundamentals. Kindly to watch my previous video for the topics, how to assign values to variables and the standard input and output functions in Python. In this video, you will learn about Python data types. Data types or the classification or characterization of items. Every value has its own data type and falls into some type of data category. Python supports data types such as numeric, string, list, set, tuple, dictionary, Boolean, and binary data types. In this video, we will learn about numeric and Boolean data types. The first data type is a numeric data type. It represents data that has numeric values. The numeric value can be an integer, floating point number, and complex number. So integer is represented by int class, and all positive and negative whole numbers without decimals or fractions of any length belong to this class. Let us see an example. X is equal to 2 or y is equal to -3. It can be of any length or it can be a positive or negative whole number. And the second numeric data type is floating point number represented by float class. And floating points are represented by decimal points. We can give a number of decimal points, but the Python accepts only up to 16 decimals. Let us try to give Z with different values. But when we type the value of Z, it takes only up to 16 decimal points. So all other numbers has been deleted, right? So this is the floating point. The third numeric data type is complex and is represented by class called complex class. And complex numbers are specified as real part and imaginary part. So we can represent X is equal to 2 real part plus an imaginary term 3j. So if we type X, 2 plus 3j. So these three numeric values belong to data type called numeric data type. And to know, suppose I'll give a number, X is equal to 78, or I'll give -56.5. I want to know whether X belongs to an integer class or float class or complex class. In Python, we have two functions called type and isinstance. Type function represents the type of class to which the value belongs to or the variable belongs to. And isinstance is also a function, but it returns true if a given parameters belongs to that class. Let us see an example. Now I'll use type function to know whether X belongs to which type of data type. So I can write type X. So then it has represented integer because it is -567. It belongs to an integer data type, right? And I can also write in the other way 3, 5 and write isinstance So isinstance returns whether it is true or false, whether that variable or the parameter belongs to that class. So I need to mention the variable along with the class. I just want to check whether it belongs to an integer class. Then I write isinstance x comma int. True, because it is an integer, it belongs to an integer. If I write, use same thing and write, is it a floating number? Let us see. No, false. So isinstance returns true if the given parameters belongs to that particular class. So that is the importance of two functions called type, to know to which class the value belongs to, and isinstance returns true or false if the parameters belongs to that class. So these are the three data types that belongs to the numeric data type. It consists of the numeric values such as integers, floating point, and complex numbers. Now we can also convert the integers to floating point numbers or integers to complex numbers. Let me give some examples. X is equal to int of, I just want an integer of a floating point number. Then I'll do int of 4 vertices. Now if you write type x, then it has discarded the decimal points and has taken the whole number 4. I can also write x is equal to float of, I'll convert it into a floating number back. Suppose I write 56 into, because it is a integer, let us convert it into floating number. Then x is converted to floating point. Now let us take x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3. And now I'll convert x, y to a complex class, complex number. So I can write complex of x comma y. Then if you type z, you print 2 plus 3. So this is how you can convert from one data type to other data type in numeric data type. You can check whether that particular variable belongs to which type of class, that is, when it belongs to integer class, floating point, or the complex number by using the functions called type and isinstance. I hope you understood the numeric data type. Now let us go for the second data type, that is called Boolean data type. Boolean data type, what it does is, it evaluates the Boolean value of an expression or a variable and returns true or false. Suppose you are given an expression like if x is equal to y. If x is, suppose you take two variables, x some value, y some value, and check the Boolean value of that expression, x is equal to y. And if both are equal, it will return a true value. You can also use it for a variable also. And generally, the Boolean data type is used to compare two or more values. And it returns false. When it returns falses, suppose if a 0 is passed to a numeric value, or a none is passed, or an empty sequence, array, or list is passed to a parameter. So let us see this Boolean data type. First, we'll take a variable and check the Boolean value of that variable. X is equal to 3.4. I have assigned some value to the x. Then print bool. Bool is the class. The Boolean data type is represented by a class called bool. Just like integer is represented by int in Python, floating point is represented by float class, and complex number is represented by complex. Similarly, the Boolean data type is represented by the class called bool class, bool or int. Then it returns true. So as I said, it will return only if we assign a 0 or none to the variable. 0. Then use the same. Try to print the Boolean value of the text variable, will return false. Similarly, if x is none. Also, it has to return false because we are not assigning any value to the variable. Suppose if X is initialized with an empty array without any elements, then also it has to return the false. Right. Right, false. So that is the purpose of the Boolean, and Boolean is data type also evaluates an expression. Let us see one expression. X is equal to 8, Y is equal to 7, then print. So it evaluates the expression. Now we have to give an expression. I'll give expression X is equal to Y. That is, I want to check if X is equal to Y. False. X is not equal to Y. Now I'll write X greater than Y. Yes, because X value is 8 and Y value is 7. So rule of X greater than Y is always true. So that is the Boolean data type. So in this video, we have learned about the numeric data type, which involves the numeric values such as integers, floating point, and complex numbers. They are represented by int class, float class, and complex class. And then how to know whether that particular variable belongs to which type of class. We have functions called type function, which returns the class to which X belongs to. And then we have another function called isinstance. It will return true or false based on the parameter, whether the parameter belongs to that particular class or not. If it belongs to the particular class, the same class, then it will return true. If we give, suppose instead of an integer, if we give a floating point number, then it will obviously return false because X does not belong to floating point number because X is an integer here. So that is the importance of isinstance. And then the second type of data type called Boolean, which is used to evaluate a variable or the expression. And when we are giving a variable, if we give assign 0 to a variable or none to a variable, it will return false. Or if you assign an empty list or empty sequence to a variable, there also will return false. And it is also used, the Boolean data type is also used to evaluate an expressions. That is a parameters, that is equal, greater than or equal, less than or equal, less than. So all these things can be evaluated by using Boolean expression. Thank you so much.